Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. See, I promised I was going to try and get more videos done, and I still am. Yeah! Right. On this video, I'm going to be doing, I actually call this fly as a Caddis bomb. Obviously Lindsay Simpson did a video. This is, I think you call it the Croston Caddis. Obviously designed by Howard Croston. I call it the Caddis bomb. Depends what you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. But this is a fly that I use on the point. Mainly if the water's deep. Yeah, I use it pretty much constantly when it's been deep, to be honest. I like the fact that these flies don't seem to catch on the bottom as much. I don't know if it's a hook I'm using or what, but they don't seem to catch on the bottom as much. Obviously they do catch a little bit, but they also sink like stones. So anyway, the hook I'm using here, this is a trout line. This is the DJS 350, so it's a wide gape jig hook in the size 10. The bead I've got on here, any size you want. I'm actually tying some very slightly lighter ones. This is a 3.5mm tungsten slotted bead. I've got ones actually that go up 5.5mm tungsten along with the rest of it. Got my cat next to me here. What are you doing, cat? As long as you don't fart, I'm happy with it. I'm going to have to open the door and let the cat out. Get out, cat. Good girl. Shh. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Right, I'm back. Right. The thread we're using here, this is Textreme Brown in AO. Now we're going to start this thread just behind the bead, just do a few turns. Now first thing I want to do is I like to lock in my bead. So I'm just going to lock that in, just do like a conical tapered shape to lock that in. And now what you need to do is you need to run, it depends on the length of your hook. Obviously I've done a few of these, so I know the exact place where I need to tie them in. Trim off your excess. So this is they call them, I don't know if it's Javi or Yavi, whatever it is. It's Javi tungsten body. Now, what I do is I put these on so the bulk of it's at the back and the tape is towards the front. And as you can see, there's some rib sections on here, just like a condom, slightly different usage. What we need to do is, first of all, grab some super glue. Now what I do is I put a bit of super glue just on the shank where this tungsten body is going to go, and this will set this in place so it never moves ever and you've never got any problems with it. Now I put the tungsten body on the back there. Now your thread needs to go into these grooves. So you're going to lock it in with several turns into these grooves. If you miss the groove it's fine, just unwind your thread. And that's it, locked in position. So there's your Javi body, Yavi body, whatever it's called, locked in position. Now the next step, grab some more of your super glue. This is actually the Gulf super glue gel. Is it super glue gel? Yeah, super glue gel and Minuteman super glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the surface of the tungsten body. I'm going to call it just tungsten body from now on because I'm not saying the other word, I don't pronounce it properly. Now what I do is I lengthen the length of my thread and you're just going to do nice loose turns, because what happens is when you pull down on your bobbin to get extra thread, it quite often moves it. So I just want to do spaced turns all over the tungsten body. If you need to lengthen your thread, put it in the groove and then pull back on your bobbin, otherwise it will just end up slipping straight down the tungsten body. I'm just going to try and get a couple of turns just on this rounded section on the end here. Again, need more thread length, put it in the groove. Just keep doing these open space turns. Just need a couple of turns on this back section and that'll do us. That's not going to go anywhere. Perfect. Next material is this is the Virtual Nymph skin, and this is like the brown. This is actually all I've got left, this little piece here, so I was hoping I had enough to do a fly for you guys, because I've been tying a few for myself and then forgot that I wanted to do a video. So I've cut it into like a little taper section at the front. So literally just catch that in at the very tip of that, and just do a few turns to secure it, and then take your thread all the way down. Now what I like to do again here, just so it doesn't slip, don't want a lot, just a little bit of dab on there and a little bit down the back, and that'll cinch that in place. By the way, if you hear any noises, my son's off school, not very well. So yeah, we've all been for a coronavirus test, so we're all fine, don't worry. Anyway, so now what we're going to do is just take the nymph skin and just start, unless it slips out your hand, start winding it up the body sorry, it's nice and it's quite short, so it's slipping out my hand slightly. Just overlap it slightly, just so I don't use the ridges on mine. I'll probably just cover all the ridges of the nymph skin. I don't need it. Just keep wrapping it around the body. Until you get to the very front, and then you can just turn over the front, turn over the top, turn in front. Do this 3 or 4 times, and that's it, nicely secure. Let me just turn this lamp so we can see a little bit better. It's a little bit better, isn't it? Now trim off your excess nymph skin. Now I just like to do a few more turns just to make sure everything's secure. Spot on. Now I've got 2 different brown pens. I've got like a dark brown pen and also like a chestnutty pen. I think it's chestnut. Pro Marcus, where's the colour on it? Yeah, chestnut. I do dark ones and light ones. On this one we're going to do the lighter version. So what I'll do is just get the Pro marker and just get it on there all the way around. Doesn't have to be perfect. And by the way, for some reason these flies keep hooking me salmon. I don't know why. Well, the salmon seem to like eating them. So it's not exactly great on a 3-weight rod when you're hooking salmon, like, but it's just one of those things that's been this year. I think I've hooked 4, this year. And all 4 of them snapped me off because they've been too big to try and land on a 3-weight rod. But anyway. So that's pretty much fully covered. And now what I'd like to do next, get the darker one. Just do some like mottledy spots on there. As I said, this fly isn't for me. I don't use really as a catching fish fly. I do catch the odd grayling on it, but for the most part I'm not using this as a catching fly. This fly for me is purely to get my flies down, and I'm using the droppers to catch the fish. So I'm just giving that a couple of seconds now just to dry a little bit. Just blowing it, see if I can get it dry. Next step, we're going to use some Gulf Thinman resin. Now what I'm going to do here is just grab my whip finish tool, if I can find my whip finish tool, because I don't want the thread to move too much while I'm using the the resin. So I'm just going to lock that thread there. And now grab your resin. I just use the tip of the bottle to spread it around. I might have to turn this so it might be slightly away from you guys, but I need to make sure the fly is covered. Now check I've got this underside, which I hadn't. Pretty that covered here, pretty much fully covered. Right, so that's covered now pretty much. Now grab your UV torch and just set this resin on there. Oh no! My UV torch has run out of battery! Oh no! Right, let me plug this UV torch in and we'll do it again. Right, so I've actually plugged my other torch back in now. I'm just going to make sure this fly's set. I had to go away for 5 minutes or so and make sure this fly was set. So there we go. Right, so that's set there nicely. Yep. Right, next step, what I like to do is grab some dubbing. You can use obviously any dubbing you want, whether it's hare's ear or maybe a sparkly dubbing, anything you want. What I'm going to use on mine is some Spectra dubbing, and this is Copper DK. This is Hen Spectra. Obviously you can use whichever ones you want. I'm just using this one because I like it. So just dub this DK onto the thread, however much you want, up to you. Right, Now before we dub that, what I like to do is use some varnish, any clear varnish you want, doesn't make a difference. And I brush the whole fly, because this fly is going to get hammered on the bottom. So the varnish is just an extra protecting layer. So just put that on all the way around. And now we can add our dubbing. Doesn't make a difference that the varnish is wet, just stick it on there while it's wet, as long as you don't touch the body. So that's looking good now. Last but not least, put some varnish on your thread. Grab your whip finish tool. Just do a whip finish. Anytime I did 6 turns I believe there, something like that, and that's absolutely fine. I'll trim off the excess. So give this one a go. Honestly, it's one of the best point flies I've used. It's superb, really gets your flies down well. Doesn't snag the bottom as much as a lot of other point flies I've used. Yeah, it still snagged the bottom, but not as, yeah, for me it doesn't seem to snag as crazy much, or I don't know, as much, yeah. If that's the correct English. Being a linguist definitely isn't one of my strong points in life. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you're alright, hope you're doing well, hope this coronavirus crap isn't getting you all down, and I will see you on the next one.